In this video, we will be going over how to create option menu items and pair them with regular items. For example, how would we create a coffee item with options such as sweetener, sugar, milk, and cream? We will also look at how to set limits and additional pricing with options. To begin, let's take a quick look at an existing coffee item. As you can see, according to our Advanced tab in our coffee item is a regular type item. To create option type items, it is recommended to have them exist in a group labeled options and then have different option categories within them. So let's go ahead and add our options group and then a coffee options category. Now that we've created a place for our coffee options to exist, let's add in the different options we need. We're going to create new menu items for sweetener, sugar, milk, and cream. Remember, to create an option item, we need to step into the Advanced tab and set the item to an option like this. Let's hit save. Once the first menu item has been set within a group, additional items added to the group follow a similar structure. In this way, once we've added sweetener as an option item type, the additional items we add will by default be set to an option item type as well. This is useful when adding many option types within one group, as each menu item will not need to be adjusted to an option item type independently. So let's go ahead and add the rest of our items. As we can see, using the list view in coffee options is really useful. I selected the dropdown in the corner over here, and I selected item type in order to just ensure that all the options that I've created are indeed option item types. Before we continue, let's make sure our coffee options do not have a price associated with them. As you know, by default, all prices are set to $99. That's a little expensive for our coffee options. Let's go ahead and set these to $0. And then hit save all. That is one way to change all the prices on the items by going into them one by one. But a quicker way to do it would be to actually select the category of coffee options. For demonstration purposes, I'm just going to change the prices back to $99 for now. And show you how to set the prices for all items at once. I've set the price for the first item to $99. I can right-click the first item in the list in the price column and then select push down. This would apply the $99 price to all the items at once, rather than going into them one by one. Let's change it back to $0. Remember to press enter when you finish typing in your price value. Right-click and then push down. There we go. That's a much quicker way to do it. Let's now navigate to the combo and option tab. In this screen, we see our view split into three areas. The first on the left-hand side is our global menu items list. The second in the middle is our options and extras tab. And the third on the right are two windows related to options groupings. When you touch on an existing option grouping title in the top window over here, you will see options items that are associated with the option grouping appear in the bottom window over here. Let's start by creating a new coffee options grouping. To do so, simply right-click and select Add New. Now let's add our previously created coffee options into this grouping. We can add the option menu items we want by clicking and dragging and dropping them into the bottom window over here. Remember, we can drag an entire category of items at once, or we can even use the multi-select option up here to use the checkboxes to select which items we want moved over. Into my coffee options bucket over here. And there you have it. In our coffee option grouping, we now have option items, cream, milk, sugar, and sweetener. We are now going to apply our newly created coffee option grouping to our coffee item. To do so, simply drag and drop your option grouping into the middle of the screen. The first thing we have to do, though, is actually select which item we want it dragged onto. You'll notice it is selected because it is highlighted in blue. In our options and extra tab, we are now going to drag in our coffee options and drop. As you can see, in our options and extras tabs, we now have a coffee option grouping applied to our coffee item. Let's now look at how to add limits to our options. By default, we have a single limit in our common column. I'm going to reset that back to 0 for the time being. So currently we have no limit set on our options. This means our cashier can add 0 or infinite options on our coffee item. Leaving it limitless opens this flow of transaction to be error prone. So let's adjust our settings and create some limitations. In our options and extras tab, please make note of the following columns: minimum or min, common, quantity point, and price above quantity point. Min lets us select the minimum number of options that must be selected on our coffee before we are able to press the next button and apply our options. Since many of us like to have our coffee black, let's keep the minimum to 0. This means no options need to be selected before moving on. Common lets us select the maximum number of options we can have. If we set this number to 10, for example, that means only a total of 10 options can be selected for our coffee item. The last thing we're going to look at is how to set a dollar value on options that exceed a certain number. For example, if more than 12 options are selected, every additional option costs $1. We can do this by setting the quantity point to 12 and setting the price above quantity point to $1. Do keep in mind that these menu changes would require a data sync to be pushed to our terminals. For purposes of this demo, this has already been completed. Let's now take a look at our point of sale terminal and see how our options and option limits have been applied. Here is our point of sale terminal screen. I have created two quick menu buttons for coffee and tea. When we select coffee, we see an option screen pop up with our coffee options: cream, milk, sugar, sweetener. Tapping on an option adds a quantity to it. We can see this reflected on the right-hand side of the screen along with the associated option name. The green circle at the top of the screen counts how many options of any kind have been selected. Because of our quantity point limit, if I exceed 12 options, I will now have a $1 charge associated with each additional option. Let's go ahead and test that out. At 12 options, I have no charges. However, when I exceed 12 options, you'll notice that a charge has been added. I do not currently have a limit set on my options. The next button at the bottom of the screen lets us move on with the rest of our transaction and will apply options to our coffee item. After clicking the next button, we can view our transaction breakdown. For the first option item, it is a $0 charge. For the next 11 option items, it is also a $0 charge. When our option items exceed 12, we start to see a $1 charge. It is also possible to add multiple option groups to one menu item. For example, let's say we offered a Build a Burger menu item, which allows our customers to pick and choose how they want their burger to be made. We could have several option groups like topping, condiments, protein, and bread to build our burger. To create a menu item with multiple option groupings on it, we would simply drag and drop the option groups that we want into the options and extra space for the menu item we want it applied to, like so. Now, when our Build-A-Burger menu item is purchased at the POS, we will be asked for several options, one after another, to build our burger. And there you have it. That's how we create options for our menu. Thank you for watching.